Mesut Ozil, the footballer, is the embodiment of the quote, "Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see."
Really talented and an outstanding player, having an impact on every game with his technical ability. He can make the difference, he can play the deciding pass, he can run in a high speed with the ball, scoring goals. He can really adapt well to circumstances, but also not an easy character. Not loud, but he has his own view on things, and when things are not working well in his way, he was not easy to handle.
Highly praised and highly criticised, the German puppet master had eyes in the back of his head. In an era with the likes of Neuer, Lahm, Schweinsteiger, Kroos, Müller and Klose, he managed to win a record 5 German national team Player of the Year awards. Despite not being the strongest or the fastest, his technical ability has always put him levels above his peers.
Wenn du mit 7, 8 Jahren angefangen hast, Fußball zu spielen und ja, gegen deinen älteren Bruder oder Cousin oder teilweise auch gegen deren Freunde gekickt hast, war es halt so, dass sie schon 12, 13 waren und du mit 7 körperlich natürlich der Schwächste. Und da war es halt so, dass sie auch ab und zu natürlich zur Sache gegangen sind. Und da musste ich schon halt, wie gesagt, in den jungen Jahren mit meinem ja nicht so robusten Körper damals mich behaupten. Und das hat mir auf jeden Fall in meiner Karriere sehr geholfen.
His breakthrough came at Werder Bremen as the world got to see a true pass-first number 10. He led the club to a DFB Pokal victory and provided 15 and 16 assists in back-to-back Bundesliga seasons. When the 2010 World Cup came around, the 21-year-old Ozil had the world's attention. He started all of Germany's matches, providing 3 assists and scoring a goal, ending up as one of the 10 nominees for Player of the Tournament.
He always played forward and in the right space, and he was there at the right time. He never missed a touch. He was creating constantly. So every time when he got the ball, you will know he will never play it back. He will always play it forward.
At this point, he could forget about ever going back to Werder Bremen, and Spanish giants Real Madrid secured his services for 18 million euros. Brought in as a backup to former Ballon d'Or winner Kaká, it didn't take long for Ozil to surpass him.
For me, personal-wise, was the best player I've ever seen.
Really?
Technical-wise, and his vision, you know, like his first touch, his movement between the lines, and to understand the game, how to give passes to his strikers. So from the best I ever seen.
Across his 3 full seasons at Real Madrid, he played 159 games, scored 27 goals, and provided 81 assists, getting his hands on La Liga, the Spanish Cup, and the Spanish Super Cup. Up against the Barcelona trio of Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi, Ozil led La Liga in assists in each of his 3 seasons, with Jose Mourinho saying, "There is no copy of him, not even a bad one." During this time, he was also named in the Euro 2012 Team of the Tournament.
I would have loved to play with him. He's the type of player, the type of guy, you give him the ball, he will give it back to you. Like you move left, he gives it to you. Move right, he's just like, he will share the ball. You know, he can find a guy that is quick, a target striker, any type of ball, whatever you want. And he has that thing that you look for your midfielder. It seems like he has time all the time. And we all know, right, that it's not the case. But it seems like, you know, that he's playing at home in his garden, like no one is around him.
No player benefited more from Ozil's signing than Cristiano Ronaldo. The goal machine only needs one thing, chances, and the German playmaker could feed him all game. Ozil's vision and Ronaldo's positioning was a lethal combo. Ozil assisted Ronaldo 31 times in his career, third only to Gareth Bale and Karim Benzema. Speaking of Bale, his arrival put a dent in Madrid's books, and as a result, they couldn't turn down Arsenal's €48 million offer for Ozil. Sergio Ramos and Cristiano Ronaldo were not happy with the sale, but a certain French manager was quite excited.
You will see what we will announce you. If we sign somebody, I promise you that we will be very quick to announce it, but maybe we'll have a good surprise for you.
But the signing didn't exactly make sense. Someone like Ozil, who was a pure playmaker, is always going to be on the same level as the team around him. And while Arsenal were not a bad team, they definitely weren't Madrid. Imagine going from Ronaldo to Sonogo. Despite his less than ideal circumstances, his creativity could not be suppressed. He played 254 games for Arsenal, scoring 44 goals and providing 75 assists. He broke the club's 9-year trophy drought as he helped them to 4 FA Cup victories. In the 2015-16 Premier League season, he created a whopping 146 chances, which is still the current record.
When you're around him, I was in training, you look at him, he's not built. I mean, he is, but you know what I mean, he's not that big, and yet you can't get the ball of him. If you look at him closely, he will always do a little step on the right if you want to go on the left if you want to go on the right, just to make sure that you don't come close to him.
He became a world champion with Germany in 2014, getting a goal and an assist during the tournament. And no superstar is complete without a signature move, and he had the bounce pass and the bounce shot. It's a difficult move to read, and it's one where you deliberately kick the ball into the turf, causing it to bounce up and over a defender or a goalkeeper. He was still turning out world-class performances at Arsenal, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
Ozil, he was a magician.
Oh, he's a beautiful footballer. Yeah.
When he wanted to be.
Do you think it's simply down to when he wants to be? Don't all footballers want to be good all the time?
You can't tell me his attitude was 100% right at all times.
And his whole demeanour, Mesut's, he was so relaxed. Yeah, he was a gifted player, but the Premier League's, you've seen a lot of players come from abroad who are slightly older, who have struggled in the Premier League. There's certain moments in certain games where you don't play Mesut Ozil, you don't play that type of player in a certain game. Mesut Ozil was someone that would make things happen, but on his terms.
Unfortunately, football changed and his role disappeared. 10s became advanced 8s with more defensive roles, more ground to cover, and more marking responsibilities. Ozil was always nonchalant on the pitch and would never overexert himself on the defensive side, and that was perfectly fine until it wasn't.
And this perception is that you're a lazy player. What do you say when you hear things like that?
I just laughing because I'm now I get 30, so I'm not the youngest one anymore, but the most important thing is the coach can help me. So if I make mistakes, he can tell me, then we can speak and I can do it better in the next games. I have always motivation, especially before the games. I want to win all the games and I hate to lose.
He could have kept at his level if Unai Emery chose to build around him and hide his weaknesses, but he decided instead to have the whole team working as a unit. In his 30s at this point, Ozil wasn't going to change, and without a manager to accommodate him, he slowly faded out of the picture.
The creative players are as well players who are perfectionists, you know, and they're a bit more sensitive sometimes, and they need, of course, to be encouraged. Because if I want to play a risky pass, I need to be confident, and the creative players, they create this pass that makes the team dangerous. Mesut Ozil is an exceptional football player. What happens at the moment between him and the club looks to be more confrontational, you know, it's not based only on sport.
The final nail in the coffin was being left out of the 2020-21 Premier League squad by Mikel Arteta. Today, the pure playmaker is dead. Look at Arsenal's current squad. Who is the hardest working player on the team? Their number 10, Martin Odegaard. He not only creates, but presses as well. Ozil is another player caught in the great football transition, but at least we got to witness his talent while we could, because we might never see it again. Thanks for watching.